Someone asked Michelangelo what he was carving out of a huge granite block. "A horse," he answered. "But how can you carve a horse out of a block of granite?" that person asked. "It's easy," said Michelangelo. "My task is just to remove what is not the horse." Amazingly, he could see a horse inside that granite block, and that vision would determine his work strategy and outcome. It's also crucial for us to have a vision for the stewardship department, and that vision must develop after we understand what stewardship is. An interesting definition says that stewardship is the management of what belongs to another. Applied to Christian life, it means the management of our life that belongs to God in the service of others on Christ's behalf and the management of our surroundings. Both the management of self and the social and material environments are assignments that humanity received from the Creator and honor before the fall. Since then, all humans have been assigned at birth as stewards of God's creation, not owners, just stewards, and can choose to become good or bad stewards. Jesus stated a key principle of management or stewardship that, if practiced, will put everything else in the right place. He said that if we seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, it is promised that all these things shall be added to you. This promise that follows putting God first can be rightly applied to all areas of life. Ellen G. White says, Satan's aim has been to lead men to self first instead of God first. This, according to her, has filled the world with misery and strife. Putting oneself first has been the reason for environmental problems, marriage failures, and the failure of other social relations, to mention a few. But humanity still insists on putting self first. Some time ago, I saw a huge sign in Cairo, Egypt, which said, "Putting you first." It summarizes well the selfish, worldly mindset that stands in opposition to God. Selfishness, says Ellen G. White, is the essence of depravity, and because human beings have yielded to its power, nations, families, and individuals are filled with a desire to make self a center. If Satan aims to lead men to self first, filling the world with misery and strife, we are called by God to partner Him in counterfighting Satan's work. Therefore, what we see as our vision or the outcome of our ministry is people putting God first while managing their life and what surrounds them. Not only church members are called to put God first, but all the world. We are called to put God first, not only the realm of values, but also to give Him primacy in our practices. You will find in our commitment card 6 crucial areas where we are invited to put God first, exercising trust and partnership with Him. And because this vision, people putting God first, is broader than the scope of a single department, the Adventist Church has created many ministries or departments like education, Sabbath school and personal ministries, health, family ministries, women ministries, just to mention some, all doing their part by nurturing people to embrace the principles of stewardship or management at large. Therefore, what is the contribution of the Stewardship Ministries Department to this God-first vision? Since its inception, the stewardship department's mandate has been to focus, but not exclusively, on inviting people to trust God as owner and provider and to partner in His final mission through regular and systematic giving. This is our mission, which also appears in the two last items of our commitment card. Note that we are not in the business of inviting people to give, but to trust God as owner and provider, exercising that trust through regular and systematic giving. This is important because, according to Jesus, when we invest our treasures in heaven, our hearts will also be there. And why doing that through regular and systematic giving? Why not any kind of giving? Well, regular and systematic giving refers to God as the owner and provider. When we give regularly, it means every time we receive an income from God, and systematically, which means a specific proportion of what we receive from Him, we are no longer influenced by sympathy, feelings, or impulse. We also don't think as much about projects or the destination of resources given as we think about God, the origin of what we received. In a paradigm shift, we no longer give as donors to help or support something we feel like giving. We now give as worshipers because God has already helped and supported us. And we give a proportion of what we have received, and every time we receive. Ellen White says that because selfishness is the strongest and most general of human impulses, it is unsafe to be controlled by feeling or impulse when it comes to our labors and gifts to God. But now, how do we know if we are succeeding in inviting people to trust God and partner in His final mission through regular and systematic giving? Remember that we count what we value and we value what we count. So, even though both are important, what do we value most, institutional or spiritual growth? By promoting regular and systematic giving, we see ourselves as fundraisers or as promoters of trusting God in a deeper intimacy with Him. Should our primary focus be on bringing more tithes and offerings to the treasury or more people to heaven? How can we accomplish both? If tithe and offering income is growing, is it necessarily an indicator that more and more people trust God and partner with Him through regular and systematic giving? No. Sometimes the growth of tithe and offerings income is just a reflection of the blessing that one single person in the congregation has received. But we desire more than that. We desire that all will partner with God, right? Therefore, if we are focused on people, on their spiritual growth in trusting God, we must measure people's participation in regular and systematic giving. As giving is a spiritual discipline that leads people to trust God, the more people are involved in what we call promise, which is regular and systematic giving, the more they will know God, trust Him, and put Him first. Then institutional growth will be a natural consequence because those who are regular and systematic in their giving will always give a proportion of what they receive from God whenever they receive. So the important question now is, what proportion of the total membership is currently giving regular and systematically tithes and offerings? are more people becoming what we call promisers or regular and systematic in their giving? Those questions must be well answered. Otherwise, our vision, people putting God first, will never be accomplished. It is because as spiritual leaders we value people that our suggested goal is, in each local Seventh-day Adventist church, each year, an additional 2% of the membership at the start of the year is participating in tithing and regular and systematic offerings. It means that we want more than simply an increase in the church's income. We want to see more and more people knowing God more intimately by risking living by faith. They will see God's hands as we ourselves have experienced. Now ask yourself what the current situation of your church, field, or administrative region is when it comes to regular and systematic giving. What is the percentage of members currently giving regularly and systematically tithes and offerings? Are those two variables growing at the same pace? And if not, why not? The General Conference has made available the ACMS, Adventist Church Management System, which synchronizes and crosses treasury and secretary information. If your field is already using that system, you can have the information about the growth in member participation in regular and systematic giving in just seconds. Now, what resources are available for motivating and encouraging people to put God first regularly and systematically? Please watch the next video as Anil Barb takes us on a journey through our 3 lead measures and even beyond.